The 90s. Gangsta rap's peak, dirt slow cars that were as ugly as a shaved dog's butt, and colorful gaudy Coogi sweaters. With their kaleidoscopic hues and intricate designs, Coogi sweaters embodied the early streetwear culture in the 80s and 90s. Worn by influential figures in the hip-hop game and cherished for their luxurious wool craftsmanship, Coogi sweaters carved out a section in the market for themselves and earned one of the top spots in the hearts and minds of consumers. But as the 2000s rolled in, Coogi took a backseat to the upstart brands that ushered in the streetwear genre. Ever wonder what happened and exactly what caused the fall? Well, let's find out. I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com, and this is the rise and fall and rise again of Coogi. But before we get started, please take a second to stop and hit that like button for me. It's the only way that the YouTube algorithms notice smaller channels like mine. But with that being said, let's get right into the story. Coogi was launched in 1969 by Jack Taranto in Toorak, Australia. Jack is a mystery man. I searched the internet far and wide, and I couldn't find a single image nor video footage of this guy. So whenever I refer to Jack, I'm going to post this mystery symbol. But anyway, the name Coogi actually comes from a fountain in a small island of Alacoeli in the Adirondack Sea, where Jack's father was originally from. Starting out in the 1960s Australia, Jack needed a way to get eyes on his brand. So his plan was to focus on American and European tourists visiting Australia. He marketed his products as sort of a souvenir of their time spent in the land down under. The iconic Coogi pattern was actually the brainchild of an Egyptian designer, Hazim El Shatawi, who also chose the fabrics for the earlier designs as well. Another interesting note was up until 1987, Coogi was actually spelled C-U-G-G-I, which was more accurate to its namesake. But wanting the brand name to more closely resemble an indigenous Australian name, Jack changed the spelling to what we're familiar with today. Throughout the 70s, Coogi employed their high-end souvenir plan, which wound up working out quite well for them. So much so that the sweaters found their way into the wardrobe of, at the time, TV's favorite dad, Bill Cosby. The Cosby Show was one of the most popular shows on TV in the 80s, and the namesake character was notorious for wearing loud, borderline ugly sometimes, sweaters. On the show, he wore sweaters from multiple designers, and some of them were from Coogi. The popularity of the show sparked a Bill Cosby swag era of sorts. Guys started wearing more and more of these style sweaters. The intricacy of the weave design mixed with the high-end nature of the sweaters, mind you, they were selling for upwards of $400 to $600 at the time, wound up bringing them to the attention of rappers of the day, most notably among them, Notorious Big. The legendary rapper, known for his lyrical genius and influential impact on hip-hop, became an inadvertent ambassador for Coogi sweaters in the 90s. His rocket ship rise to fame and distinctive fashion sense prominently featured these vibrant and intricate sweaters, catapulting Coogi into the spotlight of early street fashion. Biggie essentially single-handedly ushered Coogi sweaters into the hip-hop lexicon. The 90s were big for Coogi thanks to Biggie Smalls' cosign combined with all of the work that they had previously put in. Coogi had basically become a household name. No event was potentially more impactful for them than the photo shoot from 1995 by photographer Dana Luxembourg, who took the famous photograph of Notorious Big wearing the Coogi sweater and the Versace sunglasses while counting a stack of 50s behind the scenes for a shoot for Vibe magazine. However though, as the 90s neared a close and the 2000s rolled in, Coogi began to experience a decline in popularity. Style and fashion was changing. Many of the OG brands that had reigned supreme in the early to mid 90s began to take a back seat to the new kids on the block. the streetwear brands. Seeing the writing on the wall, Jack decided to sell his brand to a group of US investors for $25 million in 2002. The sale meant that Coogi would be licensed to tons of other manufacturers, which ultimately lowered the quality of the pieces. By 2010, Coogi had lost nearly all of its cultural cachet and were relegated to a relic of the past. For years they languished, lowly and forgotten. That is, until the late 2010s, when Coogi underwent a rebranding effort. New management focused on reviving the brand's iconic status while adapting to contemporary fashion trends. Perfect timing for them, considering vintage 90s fashion was in the midst of a resurgence, and Coogi's distinctive 90s aesthetic became a highly sought-after style piece among fashion enthusiasts and collectors. Suddenly, Coogi was back. Celebrities were being seen wearing it again, and current brands were knocking down the door to work with them. In 2018, they ran into an issue with the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets had recently relocated to Brooklyn and wanted to pay homage to Brooklyn's favorite son, Notorious Big, with their 2018-2019 City Series jerseys. In doing so, they highlighted the kits with a Coogi-like pattern along the neck and the sleeve line. But Coogi didn't like this too much. They argued that the Nets design was an unauthorized imitation of their distinctive pattern. Coogi went off, slinging lawsuits everywhere. In total, they filed lawsuits against the Brooklyn Nets, Nike, the NBA, and New Era for usage of what they were calling their trademark pattern. As of now, it seems that it's still ongoing and the issue's yet to be really resolved, so I guess we'll have to hang in there to see how that goes. But in 2023, Coogi teamed up with streetwear poster child Supreme in a highly anticipated collaboration. The Coogi by Supreme collection offered a modernized look at the patterns that Coogi made famous all those years ago, featuring beanies, basketball jerseys, shorts, and denim jackets, all clad in a familiar, colorful kaleidoscope pattern. The legacy of Coogi is an interesting one. They rose from an upstart brand trying to gain attention for themselves on a plot of land that's so out of the way, it was once used as a prison colony, to a key player in look that is hip-hop culture. I'm sure old Jackie Taranto had no idea that the brand that he created in '69 would not only gain so much visibility from rappers, but play a huge role in shaping what we now call streetwear. As for the current resurgence, it still remains to be seen if they can rise back to the level of popularity that they had back in the day. But no matter how it plays out, one thing's for certain, Coogi has definitely carved their names into the cultural history books. But what do you think? Can Coogi bounce back to where they once were? Hit us in the comments section and let us know. Also, if you made it this far, then apparently you liked the video because you watched it all the way through. So we hope you smash that like button for us. Liking and sharing these videos is the best way to help us to continue to grow as a channel. And if you want to be updated whenever we drop a new episode, then hit the subscribe button and then the notification bell. That way you can be dinged when a new video drops. But with that being said, I'm Nate the Great from TakeFlight214.com signing out until next time. Peace.